the cricket commentaries, like when you had the caravan and you're on the sideline of the games and it was you and Jace Hoyte and Mike Lane and the crew and Leigh Hart all together, like there was such a magic happening. And I think a lot of it came down to your expertise in calling the game, so it sounded like a real cricket commentary, and then just the absolute sort of nonsense.
The filth around it.
Yeah.
But the ball by ball it's an incredible combination.
Yeah. Funny. Well, thank you. It's a funny thing because it was originally it was a parody. I mean, like most of the things I do, including what I do on 7 Sharp now, is a parody of someone doing it. You know, I'm pretending to be someone, and that's kind of how I have to do it. I'm not really that. And I'm not really a cricket commentator. I'm not really a television host. I'm just someone pretending to be a television host. I'm not really a radio host. It's just all a parody of those people. And I think with the ACC, when G Lane and I first started talking about it, we were very clear that it needed to still be cricket commentary, even if it was a parody of that. But that bit of it was a crucial part to it working. It wasn't just some friends standing around crapping on. And so when we made that rule, and thank goodness that we made it really, really clear from the start that no matter what happened, everything had to stop. As soon as the bowler was about to bowl, that's when the ball-by-ball person took over. And also, someone had told us that that's how commentary teams worked. Like, we didn't really know because we'd never been in a commentary box before. Someone said, like, there's a ball-by-ball person, there's a comments person. It's like, okay, that makes sense. But that is the ACC and cricket commentary particularly is something I'm super proud of. And I'm very proud of, again, the team of people that G Lane and I put together, because Leigh Hart and G Lane they didn't really know each other particularly well, and Matt didn't know Lee Baker, and Paul Ford didn't know Leigh Hart, or like none of these people. The connection was really through G Lane and I. And in my head, it was just like, okay, who has the same sensibility as us and the same idea of the absurd and knows something about cricket, and was also a person who is a generous person who can listen and then take it somewhere interesting. And so, and after the first commentary in Napier that day, I thought to myself, immediately I went, yeah, this is. I knew immediately that was going to work. I was like, this is something here. We've got something.
Was that after Guess the Commentator's Perineum?
No, that was later on. That was in the World Cup. I thought the one where we each one of the commentators shared their ejaculate onto a
milk of the Jap's eye.
I thought that's good. Like, looking back on it, I'm actually quite proud of that. Because that's going into an area nobody can ever go down there again, where that's 100% a first in world commentary, and nobody can ever take that away from us. We are definitely the first commentary team to all ejaculate onto a tissue and then to run a competition of whose ejaculate is whose.
Yeah,
like that is that.
You'll go to your grave with that.
I'm proud of that. I am proud of that.
If you're this far through the episode, go back and you haven't listened to it, go back and listen to Mike Lane's ep, because he tells an amazing story about the most disgusting story ever told on the ACC. I think it involves a businessman's sock, and it might have been you telling it.
Oh yes, yeah.
we don't need to go over that ground.
The weird thing about the ACC and where we went, we never planned on going. We never said, okay, we're going to make the worst. We're going to say the worst things it could possibly say. Like, nobody ever planned that. It just always ended up descending. And because there was no censorship rule, and because we were on the internet, there were no broadcasting standards. We could go anywhere, which was just so freeing. And that's why we ended up going where we never planned on going to any of these places. But it was a place that you just realised you could just let the dogs off the leash and just see what happened. And it's very liberating, that.
What the ACC has become, it's branched out, it's live events now, it's commentaries, it's a suite of podcasts. Are you involved in the vision of what you want it to be, or are you sort of hands-off and Lane sort of takes care of that?
Well, I'm pretty hands-off, and it would be kind of... I mean, I still chuck my oar in where I think that I should chuck my oar in, but in terms of the day-to-day running and how it all works, that is G Lane, and G Lane is amazing at moving things forward, and he has the ability to have about 7 or 8 balls in the air at any given time, and you would never even know that he's juggling all of these things. It's just like each thing seems that he's got 100% attention on. And meanwhile, I've never met anyone who's got that mental agility before. You know, it's pretty amazing. And he can also go very much from that creative part of his brain into an administrative world. He can walk over that bridge very, very easily. Most people struggle with that, but he can deal with all of that stuff really, really easily. But in my mind, I like where it's going because I think it has to expand. And I just love the idea, this main sentiment, which will always be with the ACC, which is entertainment and making sports and whatever else we end up covering entertaining. And that's the main part of it, because I think that was the thing where we started. That was the bit that was just missing, some kind of entertainment aspect to it.
We've been to a lot of places. I just want to touch on the late night big breakfast. Was that, for all of the things you've done, was that one of your most enjoyable pieces to put together? Because it seems, despite your deadpan delivery on 90% of what you do, to be an incredibly fun environment of just chaos as well.
Great to be a part of that, because I was sitting beside Leigh Hart and Jason Hoyte, and to be part of that dynamic and the chemistry between those two, because they have a great chemistry, and just to watch how that works. I mean, what I think you can see when you watch, I'm most of the time bewildered. It is because I didn't know what was happening, and no one knows what's going on in Leigh's brain. Like, I think Leigh totally knows what's going on in his brain. He's well aware of. He's actually very organised inside of his head, but it does not seem like that from the outside, which is brilliant. And to watch him and Jace interact, and I was like, I would always be thinking, do they know what they're doing here? Like, is this a plan? I didn't even know. I just sort of turn up for a couple of hours and shoot it, and then go home. So when I watched the final product, I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is not what I thought it was going to be. And yeah, Leigh, not only is he an amazing live performer, Leigh, but then when he's actually cutting things together and the stuff that he does post-production, he's very, very clever.
I remember watching Olympico. This dates me a little bit, but I sent that to so many people. It was like, you need to watch Olympico. And it was you, Jason, Leigh, and you had like Daniel Loader and things like that. And that was kind of the basis, I think, of Big Breakfast. But that same dynamic.
Yeah, it was the basis.
It just worked.
Filmed in a car park in a caravan again. I think we were as a campervan, that one.
Yeah.
I think it was a camper.
It's when you break character is the funniest parts that I find, is like when Mike the Mongolian throat singer is on and you're in tears. It's there's all sorts of little, if you watch closely you can see the parts where people break. I think Leigh must deliberately leave them in the cut because they're so good.
Yeah, well, that actually was the only time I'd seen Leigh break character. Like, he doesn't break character ever. And him and Jace is quite good at holding it in, but the reason that I'm laughing so hard in that Mike the Mongolian throat singer is because I saw Leigh break, and he never breaks. And so when someone like that starts laughing, it's like, that was a great joy, that Mike the Mongolian throat singer. Man. Yeah, but that's that thing that we were talking about earlier, which is that magic thing, is like, what is that? It's hard to say exactly what it is, but that is, I reckon, that is why and I'm not sure about other people broadcast, but that is why I do what I do, is for those moments that are elevated, that are magic moments. They come from somewhere and they're different. They're different than when you hang out with your friends, because it's you're being filmed and all that sort of stuff. But there's something that those are the best moments of your life as a broadcaster.